The Australian Pink Floyd Show, Dark Side 50 Tour.
James Mennie, brought to you by Gilbert & Daughter. This week, save 50% on their already discounted prices. Gilbert & Daughter, open until Saturday at 49 Donegany in Point Clare.
You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. I guess, Jim, we will start today by talking about the fact that after, months and months and months, it looks like we finally, the government and all political parties have finally decided, okay, we're going to move forward on this foreign interference in Canadian elections, and they have a judge out of all places, Quebec. This is good news, right?
Well, it's a very interesting choice. Good news, don't speak too soon there, buddy, because on the one hand, the judge in Marie-Josée Hogg, yes, he was named.
We're losing you, Jim.
2016.
Jim, I'm going to ask you to move wherever you are. We're losing you on the phone here. Just pick a window or just walk around a couple of feet or something.
I don't know what's going on here. I'm where I usually sit.
Okay.
How's this?
That's better.
That's better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's probably a squirrel in front of my window.
Must be.
She was named to the Court of Appeal in June of 2015, which basically means she was named by the Harper government. So that automatically shuts up the Conservatives in terms of choice. That said, I'm a little concerned. She begins work on September 18th. She is expected to produce an interim report in February of next year, which is not that far away. And her final report with recommendations is expected in December of next year. So we've spent considerably more time sort of fooling around, calling for a public inquiry, than the public inquiry itself will last. And you'll recall that the Charbonneau inquiry, which is pretty wide-ranging, and I suspect this will be wide-ranging as well, basically lasted for a bit longer than a year. And I sort of foresee bumps in the road probably by around Christmas time when we'll probably, right now the Conservatives are saying, yeah, we were fine with the parameters and this and that. I think to a certain extent they're expecting this inquiry to be the Hollywood Bowl of adversarial politics, and I don't think that's going to happen. I have a sneaking suspicion that Madam Justice Ugg will say the same thing that the hapless David Johnston said when he was supposed to be looking into this, is that a lot of this stuff can't be made public. A lot of this stuff is an issue of national security,
right,
and you're not going to be able to find out. So, anybody expecting this to be the big bombshell, I don't think so. We have an expression here in Quebec, sort of a wet firecracker. I don't think we're going to hit that. The one thing I can absolutely assure you and our listeners, don't expect to be going to the polls before December of 2024.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, if this is a bit of a weight off the government's back. At least it's sort of done now. They can move on and not have to answer questions to this every other day. Or has the public forgotten about this, Jim?
Oh, you raise an excellent point, because on the one hand, even now, they're not answering questions about this every day because, my particular profession now, our attention span is only slightly larger than that of the people that we serve. However, when you consider that the Liberals are just plummeting in the polls, I mean, the latest poll that came out, Abacus, this is nuts. Pierre Poilievre, his positives have finally outweighed his negatives, and the vast majority of respondents perceive him as a better prime minister. I think it's like 32%. 17% said Justin Trudeau would be a better prime minister. That's the territory we're in right now. And I don't see any of that abating. The Liberals are getting squashed across the country. The only place where they're sort of holding their own for now is Quebec, so I guess we can expect to see all kinds of largesse poured into this province. And even though Pierre Poilievre decided, he needs Quebec, he decides essentially to backhandedly insult the mayor of Quebec City, and by extension, a lot of politicians in Quebec. He says this week, if I'm prime minister, no project that goes over budget will receive federal funding. I'm not going to be paying for the incompetence of politicians. At which point, even that nice Francois Legault said, find me a project anywhere in Canada that hasn't gone over budget. This is kind of a silly thing to say. But all that said, despite Pierre Poilievre's best efforts to aim that shotgun right at his big toe, Justin Trudeau just keeps doing a better job of annoying people, and he's in deep, deep trouble. I think this, if anything, the nomination of Justice Ode today is nothing more than a Band-Aid on a shotgun wound.
Okay.
I'm thinking about we were talking earlier about seeing Vashi live in Quebec City, where the Conservative
Convention,
thank you, is taking place. And the slogan behind them said "Common Sense Conservatives." Yet there were some trapeze artists in front of it, so it didn't seem very common sense at the time. But what do you think of this approach, this common sense? Is that what people are looking for right now?
Well, remember, was it not the late great Bill Davis in Ontario who brought the whole shift to the right by calling it the Common Sense Revolution?
Right? Yeah.
And wasn't it? It was a big deal because Ontario's and conservatism at that time. I'm not saying it entered the Harper zone with that almost zombie-like coldness, that ruthlessness. But the game got more hard-edged. The rhetoric became tougher, and now we're at the point where we're so completely polarized that the idea, even to say you're a Liberal supporter, or if you're a Liberal supporter, it probably means you oppose the Conservatives, and vice versa. There is no real kind of party loyalty or adherence. Some families would vote Liberal simply because their parents did. I think that's completely out the window now. The person that you are going to be voting for in the next election, no matter what the level of it is the person who manages, to peeve you off the least.